Man, I've got to be honest with you guys. This is wild. Japan, of all places, is starting to embrace Islam. When I first saw this, I was like, wait, what? Because you don't usually associate Japan with religion on that level, right? They've always been super disciplined, super focused on science, innovation, Asian culture, Zen philosophy, that deep sense of respect they've got for everything they do. But now, suddenly, I'm seeing reports, people converting, mosques being built, young Japanese folks exploring the Qur'an. And it's not just curiosity, man. It's genuine interest. It's like they're finding something spiritual that fills a void. And that's fascinating because if you think about it, Japan has always been about balance, honor, respect, peace, mindfulness. And Islam actually aligns with a lot of those core principles. Submission to God, respect for parents, discipline in prayer, no alcohol, cleanliness, intention. When you really look into it, it's not that far off from Japanese philosophy. It just adds that spiritual center that maybe modern Japan has been missing. And I think people are starting to feel that emptiness, that spiritual vacuum that comes with a high-tech, fast-paced, material-driven society. Like, you can have all the gadgets, all the anime, all the robotics, but deep down, humans need purpose. And I think that's what's happening right now in Japan. People are realizing they want something deeper than just progress. They want peace, clarity, truth. And Islam's message, submitting to one God and living a life of purpose and accountability, is resonating with them. I saw this documentary, man, about Japanese students studying Arabic just to read the Qur'an properly. Like, they weren't even Muslims yet, but they were curious about what it says in the original language. That's a level of respect you don't see everywhere. They're not just jumping into it emotionally, they're studying it, analyzing it, and then boom, they find something that connects with them. You've got to respect that. And part of it, too, is that Islam offers community. Japan has one of the highest loneliness rates in the world. Suicide rates are high, depression is high, and there's this whole culture of isolation. Hikikomori, people staying locked in their rooms for months or even years. On the other hand, Islam pulls people together, 5 prayers a day, Ramadan, Eid. There's this sense of belonging, of togetherness. You are never really alone. You pray together, you eat together, you live as a unit. That kind of connection, I think it's exactly what people in Japan have been craving deep down. And when they find it through faith, it hits differently. I even read about Japanese imams now, born and raised in Japan, scholars preaching Islam in their own language, helping others understand it. That's powerful, man, because when something reaches that level where it's not just imported but actually rooted in the local culture, that's when it grows authentically. And I know some people might freak out, like, oh no, Japan is changing, they're readopting something foreign. But honestly, it's not about losing identity. It's about evolving spiritually. Every culture has the right to explore truth and meaning. And if Islam's message of peace and purpose is helping Japanese people live better, stay more connected, feel closer to God, how can that be a bad thing? What really amazes me is how quiet this whole thing is. Nobody's talking about it in mainstream media. It's not like some massive campaign. It's just people discovering it naturally, quietly, sincerely. That's what makes it real. It's not hype. It's not politics. It's faith. And you can't fake that. So yeah, I'm shocked, but in a good way. Because when you see a nation that has always been so advanced, so disciplined, so intellectual, suddenly opening its heart to something as profound as Islam, it makes you wonder, maybe humanity is shifting. Maybe we're finally looking beyond the material world towards something higher. And honestly, I think that's beautiful. The more I looked into it, the more it all started to make sense. Japan embracing Islam isn't just some random cultural shift. It's like a quiet awakening. You have to understand, Japanese people have always been incredibly thoughtful. They don't follow trends blindly. They analyze, they observe, they internalize. So when they start looking at Islam, they're not doing it out of rebellion or influence. They're doing it out of curiosity, out of an intellectual hunger for truth. And that's what makes it so authentic. I watched an interview with a Japanese woman who converted, and she said something that hit me hard. She said, in Japan, we were taught discipline and respect from childhood, but Islam gave me the reason behind it. That's deep, because she's right. Discipline without purpose is just routine, but discipline with divine purpose becomes meaning. It gives your whole life direction. And I think a lot of Japanese people are realizing they already had the structure. Islam just adds the soul. You see this in their mosques, beautifully organized, clean, serene. With this atmosphere of peace, you can literally feel. People take off their shoes, pray silently, no chaos, no noise. It's so Japanese, but also so Islamic. It's like these two worlds are merging naturally, harmoniously, and that shows how universal Islam really is. It's not tied to a particular race or region. It's a message that fits wherever truth seekers exist. And the Japanese are truth seekers, man. They've spent centuries perfecting art, technology, architecture, politeness. But when you perfect everything on the outside, eventually you start looking inward. And that's where Islam comes in. It answers that inner call, that question every human asks, why am I here? Some Japanese people say hearing the adhan, the call to prayer, changed them. One guy said it felt like something ancient woke up inside him. That's not logic, that's the soul. And the youth, the young generation, they're leading this. Students, travelers, influencers, they're posting about Islam, about fasting, about peace. This generation grew up with screens and schedules, but now they're finding purpose in something thousands of years old. And it works. And what's even more wild is how organic it all is. No politics, no celebrity influence, just people finding meaning, people who spent their lives focused on perfection and responsibility, suddenly pausing and saying, there's more to life than achievement. That pause, that's where Islam enters, because Islam doesn't just teach you how to worship, it teaches you how to live. In a country that already values order, respect, and humility, it's like adding light to structure. And you can feel the harmony, Japanese discipline blending with Islamic devotion. It's incredible. I saw a clip of a Japanese businessman explaining how praying 5 times a day improved his focus, reduced his stress, made him kinder to his employees. That's wild because he's connecting spirituality with productivity, and it's working. Islam isn't about leaving the world. It's about living in it with consciousness. And Japan, a place where perfection is an art form, is finding beauty in Islamic rituals too. Each act of worship is deliberate, calm, precise, just like a tea ceremony, just like calligraphy. When those two worlds meet, it becomes something sacred. Japanese Muslims talk about life after converting like they found color after years of gray, like they can finally breathe. That's not a small change, that's a rebirth. And it's growing quietly, slowly, but powerfully. More mosques, more Qur'an study circles, even universities adding Islamic studies programs. That's huge for a country that barely had any connection to Islam just decades ago. But what I love most is the sincerity. Japanese Muslims don't brag. They don't argue online. They just live their faith with humility, like everything else in their culture. They let their actions speak, and that's the essence of Islam too. And it makes people curious, not scared. That's how real change happens, through example, not force. Japan is reminding the world what genuine spirituality looks like: quiet, thoughtful, sincere. Maybe that's why it's working there. Some scholars even say Japan might become a spiritual hub in the future because Islam is taking root so naturally. Just imagine Japan, the land of anime, technology, robotics, becoming a center of spiritual revival. Sounds crazy, but the seeds are already planted. Islam doesn't erase identity, it refines it. It takes what's good and strengthens it. Japan already has discipline, respect, honor, humility, and when you add faith to that, you get something extraordinary. Maybe that's what the world needs. A reminder that you can be modern, scientific, and spiritual at the same time. The West lost that balance. Japan might be rediscovering it. And honestly, if you told me 10 years ago that Japan, one of the most secular, disciplined societies, would start embracing Islam, I'd have laughed. But now I see it, I feel it. Something real is happening there. And if the world pays attention, maybe they'll start waking up too. Because this isn't just Japan's story, it's a reminder that no matter how advanced we get, the heart will always search for its creator.